that has been really helpful as a coach and workshop facilitator, particularly when we were in conversation with the Department of Education here in Massachusetts before our statewide pilot. They said one of the biggest things in workshops that can get confusing is just when you're doing a demo, particularly, when are they acting like students? When are they acting like adults? Are they in like adult mode, student mode? Are they learners but adults? Like, make that clear, because that confusion can just totally derail a demo. What great advice. And me and my colleagues, Cara and Eric, have worked really hard to figure out what is the language, what is the just enough, precise enough language that is going to set the stage for success for a demo if you are demoing a lesson for a group of folks, a group of educators, a teacher team, or a whole staff thing. Okay, so here's what we have. We have learner hat and teacher hat. I'm going to show you some examples as well as the precise language that we use to distinguish this. It has saved us so much headache. And honestly, when I forget to include these key slides that are framing, it is wild how fast it derails the demo. So here we go. So we're going to launch the question. This is from an investigating history curriculum, grade 4, just for reference. But we launch it by sharing our frame. So here's our frame. You can clearly see we call it a learner hat. We don't call it a student hat, because what we're doing is we're engaging as your adult self. You're not pretending to be a 4th grader. And you're engaging as a person who's just going to be in the learning experience. So we specifically name, you are a learner, you are an adult. And this is the key part. I have left this one part out and just done these first 2 pieces, and it has made a world of difference, and not in a good way. So here we go. Resist imagining how your students will respond or how you would present this work as a teacher. Make sure they know that this will happen in the debrief. We are not going to forego this. This is incredibly important work, but we do need to resist it for the sake of just being in the learning space. It is not going to go well if we're outside of the learner hat mode and we are just like, oh, but students won't do this. Or what about when this? Like, it just needs to, for a demo's sake, it needs to be completely in the learning zone you're experiencing as a learner, and then a distinct marker where we shift into teacher hat mode. And these hats, it's silly language, but I really think this has lent a ton of clarity and real, like, increasing the learning as we go through. So then you would have, the lesson. So here we go. This is the lesson. They're going through. And then we have teacher's hat on to reflect. So here's like one thing you might share in a teacher hat reflection. You're just going to talk about their noticings. What did you notice as a learner? What was your experience? How did you feel? Were there moments you got confused? What did you notice, like, as your teacher self, right? What's a question you have? So now you're in full teacher mode, right? What question do you have so you can teach this well? What kind of, like, and usually behind this support is like, what kind of fears do you have, or what kind of challenges do you anticipate students having? And like, what is a support that you would put in to scaffold appropriately, of course, not over scaffolding here. That's a caution that we certainly want to name. But like, what is a support that you would like to help you get better as the teacher, but also what is a support, sorry, I'm like blending these two here. What is the support you would like to help you? So questioner support for my teacher self, but then here is a support for students. Like, what's an instructional move that you're going to emphasize or you're going to adjust to make it better and more meaningful for your kids? So these are the typical types of questions that we like to share, but these are really broad, right? It's like a kind of a notice and wondering and like instructional action. You could certainly add or adjust this, but again, I think the important part here is the framing. Learner hats on, demo over. Okay, now we're shifting to teacher. I just went ahead and added some slides, basically a template version of the debrief slide, as well as the learner and teacher kind of framing slides, to our facilitation moves resource bank freebies. You can grab that in the description, and feel free to let me know how you're adjusting it, how it's working for you, any ahas that come up as you facilitate your awesome instructional professional developments.